Hi everybody, my name is Kristen Slogar and this is my ESE presentation for Professor Lacey's WP Carey 480 class. So who I chose for my interview is Vanessa Rector, and she is the operations manager. She's been the operations manager for 8 years at a small general contracting firm called Creeker Construction. They're based out of Scottsdale, Arizona, and they've operated in all over Arizona, some parts of Nevada, some parts of California, some parts of New Mexico. So they essentially work in the southwest of the United States. So a little more of a background on Creeker Construction is that, as I mentioned before, they're a general contractor. They primarily work on the construction and development of commercial real estate buildings, and more specifically, they have a large focus on storage facilities. During projects, they're the ones that oversee the construction of the buildings, and they even in-house some of the trades, such as the concrete pouring aspect. They're a pretty small company, as they're a family business, and they only have about 6 salaried employees. However, they do have independent contractors that they hire for specific jobs, and if you're unfamiliar with what exactly an independent contractor is, they generally only work on short projects and are paid an hourly wage. So at any given time, Creeker Construction employs anywhere from 10 to 100 of these independent contractors based off of the scope of work and the number of projects going on at that time. So my relationship with Vanessa is that she is the general contractor that is currently working on a project that my family is the owner of. Right now we're constructing a 3-story storage facility, and it's basically Vanessa's job to keep the construction side of things running smoothly for us, as we're only on the business and ownership side of things. So one of the theories that we discussed in class is how core competencies, which are the unique strengths that are deeply embedded in a firm, help the firm gain a competitive advantage. Being that Creeker has operated in the construction industry for 40 plus years, this itself has given them a certain knowledge and skill set that only comes with this experience. However, construction is just a small part of all the operations that go into Creeker Construction being a successful business. Vanessa stated that their core competencies include their management, their team efforts, and their accountability. Without these, the construction aspect, which is what they're paid to do and which brings the company income, would completely fail. Because they're so efficient with their organization, management, as well as being a tight-knit group of people that works extremely well together, they can successfully fulfill their competencies and make their business a successful one. Another theory that we talked about in class is that competition is bad for business. This is certainly the case for Creeker Construction, as competition plays a large role in their ability to be a successful company. Everything in their business is a competition. From the moment they receive a bid invite, which is when people reach out to them as well as other general contractors who are their competitors to be the ones to build a certain project, they essentially compete with those other contractors to win the project, which in turn brings income to the company. When I asked Vanessa how much competition played a role in this bidding process, she mentioned that it's the most important factor. She stated that, and this is just an example, if Creeker really wanted a certain project and another contractor bidding against them came in at a price of $1 million, if Creeker really wanted this project, they could make the same project happen at $995,000, which is $5,000 less for the developer. She stated that in this business, if you really want something, you're going to do what you have to in order to get it. And lastly, we talked about how much the external environment can impact a firm. The industry in which a firm operates and the competitive forces that surround the firm can affect its potential to gain and sustain a competitive advantage. I touched on the competitiveness earlier, but other external factors that greatly affect Creeker Construction are the local and state governments. The global economy and many other things also play a factor in the external environment. When I asked Vanessa how she makes decisions based off of this external environment, she said that the external environment plays a great role in their ability to be successful. They can't just wake up one day and decide to build a building. They need approval, which comes from the local and state governments. They need to have the staff, which, as I mentioned earlier, are the independent and subcontractors. They need to have materials where prices vary at any given time based off of a myriad of reasons, whether that be political or the global economy or any other thing. I mean, there's so much that goes into this business, and so little of that can actually be controlled internally by Krieger Construction. Vanessa also stated that the most impactful external environments are cities and the counties. Where Krieger depends on the cities and counties 100% for their turnaround time. Utility companies are also a large factor in this turnaround time. So, for example, if a utility company has a 6-month processing time, that impacts the overall project time by 6 months. And every day that you're not doing something, you're losing money. So the counties, the cities, and the utility companies play a very large external factor that can greatly affect the success of their company. She also stated that at any given time, the city can stop development, the county can stop the development, and the utility companies can stop the development. With this being said, I would say that for Krieger Construction, the most stressful part of this job is how the external environment can affect their work. So my main takeaways from this interview are a few things. The business world can be extremely successful. Competition is always a factor. Your core competencies are extremely important in being a successful company. And many external and uncontrollable factors can really guide how you do your business. Overall, I learned a lot about small businesses and what it takes to have a successful team and business. I mean, in class, we focus mainly on larger companies, so it was really interesting to see how strategic management plays a role in businesses of various sizes, being that Krieger Construction is on such a small scale. So talking with Vanessa was very illuminating for me and how it ties into this class. What I think is most important to share with others is that having a great team, communication and transparency between these team members is key to sustaining a successful company. I've known Vanessa for a couple years now, and I've been acquainted with many of the Krieger Construction team. And I've seen how well they work together, how they manage their projects, and how everyone has a role to play. The success of Krieger Construction is really a team effort by everyone involved, and I think that goes for any business, small or large. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you found some knowledge in this presentation. Thank you.